Well, during the press conference with the Chief Minister, there was certainly a bombshell of an announcement that was made about the senior bank holiday, the race day, of course, being cancelled. It was sort of just passed there and clearly since then there's been a lot of talk on social media about it. Max Byrne is joining us. Max, you started a petition about this and it's hitting big numbers. You think it should go ahead, right?
Yeah, I think the public holiday that was cancelled should go ahead. Referring back to that the press conference the Chief Minister gave, I believe he stated that we may have already had a bit too much time off recently, and I know I personally have been working every day since the lockdown began. I know a lot of key workers have also been doing with similar things. So whilst there have been some people who've had time off, I don't believe that's a case for the majority of the island population.
And that's a feeling online that there's been a misstep here completely about people who obviously have not been able to work and those who have been. Do you think it's something that can be changed?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it should be changed. It was changed to be cancelled for this year, at kind of very short notice, and I think it can be changed back again. The part of the reason why I started the petition was to try and get a rough gauge of how the population felt about it. And we've had 4,500 signatures as of this interview, which roughly equates to just under 5% of the island population, if we assume that everyone who signed it is a Manx resident.
Indeed, I've seen many of these come and go, these people putting online petitions up, and they get maybe 50 to 100. This is certainly way outside that. There's definitely momentum on this. What can you do? I mean, besides showing that number, will you take this any further with government, or do you just hope this in itself will be enough to trigger a rethink?
Obviously, I'd like to think that the MHKs will see this and want and then probably take action on it. But I'm happy to take this further and go to Howard Quayle and my local MHK with kind of wanting to understand why it can't be reinstated, and if it can't be, can you provide further reasoning for why it couldn't be reinstated? Going back, just because we've cancelled the TT doesn't necessarily mean we should cancel the public holiday associated with it. I mean, going back to the 2001 foot and mouth disease, I was only 8 at the time, but I remember the holiday still went ahead. And I believe the Chief Minister at the time, Donald Gelling, to quote an article I read on Ireland Today, insisted that the holiday go ahead. And given that everything the public's had to go through in this unprecedented time, it just seems a bit bit misjudged.
I think public consultation is what normally the government seems to do so much of these days, and clearly they didn't think about this one being that big a problem by just making that announcement almost. And they were caught on the back foot because they hadn't actually were prepared to make that announcement that day, but they were sort of outed, weren't they?
Well, I think we were also caught a bit on the back foot as well, because we just weren't expecting it.
And that maybe put in question, will Timble Day, the bank holiday there, public holiday, also be affected? But anyway, that's further down the line. So we have this situation now. How confident are you that you can get, I was going to say justice, but can you get reasoning and a rethink?
Well, I'm fairly confident that we could at least get a response out of the MHKs about, hopefully further, at the very least, further reasoning, and at the best, a reinstatement of the holiday, and somewhere in the middle ground, a reasonable discussion about why they've chosen to cancel it.